All right, good evening, everybody. At 5 o'clock, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. Sean Callan.
Here.
Julie Chetney.
Here.
Tom Chiappa.
Here.
David Christofoli.
Here.
Jim McKenzie's here. Kristen Norfleet.
Here.
Sean Onmock.
Here.
And Michael Pastella. Stand for the pledge, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we do not have anybody signed up for floor to the public. So next on our agenda are acknowledgements. Julie.
Okay. I was hoping someone would bring some popcorn. This is a long list of acknowledgements, which is really great. So there's a lot of great things happening. We'll start with Minetto Elementary School. The fourth graders recently visited Fort Stanwix in Rome. The students were able to participate in self-led scavenger hunt where they were able to look for clues and decipher messages. They had a lot of fun while learning a lot about the history of the fort and what it was like to live there. Then next up, we have Fitzhugh Park on Wednesday, the 22nd. The chorus at Fitzhugh Park, the band, and the orchestra performed an amazing spring concert. Congratulations to all our talented performers, including our sixth grade students who are off to the middle school next year. At Riley, Terry Stacy's first grade class has been communicating with another school in the Adirondacks, aligning with the story of Flat Stanley. They had the opportunity to meet with their pen pals through a Google Meet and answer questions each class posed to the other. It was a joy to watch the students' faces as they collaborated from afar. The third and fourth graders went to a Mets game in Syracuse to watch some baseball on Education Day. While it was raining on them pretty badly, I heard, smiles were abound and the game went on. Also, Riley School musicians did it again. They hosted a choral band and orchestra performance for the books. All music teachers and students are to be commended on all their hard work and dedication that they put into this year's worth of learning. At the middle school, the Jack Bobbitt Memorial 5K took place. It was a fantastic event. It was held at the middle school on Saturday, May 18th. The weather was a little iffy at times, but smiles and support were sunny the whole time. Runners, walkers, a few toddlers and strollers, some furry four-legged friends that gave the race their best shot. All in all, it was a beautiful opportunity to remember Jack and celebrate his involvement in our community. Finishing in first place overall were current OHS students Danny Dunn and Regan Wood. On behalf of the National Junior Honor Society, thank you to everyone who participated in or supported the race. Also at the middle school, the 7th grade FACS students are in the process of planting vegetables in the newly raised beds. The students will be learning about growing their own food, soil pH, harvesting the food, and in the fall, how to preserve the food. The students will then use the food during food labs for the next school year. This project is a whole curriculum that deals with farm to food and agriculture in the classroom. The hope is to be able to grow this project for future use, teach students the importance of nutritious foods and how to cook them from scratch. The middle school also recently recognized the top 25 7th and 8th graders at the school at Bridey Manor with a dinner that was attended by students and their families. The dinner is sponsored annually to recognize the top 25 7th and 8th graders by the Sunrise Rotary Club, Oswego City School District, and Pathfinder Bank. In athletics, we have lots going on. Men's golf senior Buccaneer Lewis Roman recently accomplished a rare feat, becoming only the 4th Oswego varsity golfer in Coach Dan Rose's 17th season career to make the Section 3 state team, shooting a second-day round of 8 over par 80 on a challenging Seven Oaks Golf Club in Hamilton, New York, polishing off a 2-day total of 163, which placed him 8th among all of the top golfers in Section 3. How'd I do, Sean? I'm not a golfer. Whew. In track and field, on Thursday afternoon, the 30th, 9 members of the Oswego Bucks boys varsity track and field team traveled to CNS to compete in the Section 3 state qualifier meet. The meet has the athletes compete against the best of Division I and Section 3 for a chance to represent their school and the section in the New York State Track and Field Championship meet next week. Senior Moreno Fenty finished second in the long jump with a super seed distance of 22.3, which earned him the opportunity to compete this Friday in the New York State Championships at CNS. Also in athletics, the men's hockey team, the boys varsity ice hockey coaches, and a few of the team leaders for next season volunteered their time to help build a deck in the community this past weekend. Great work, guys. Hopefully they'll be out for hire in the future. High school SUPA forensics. On the 22nd, students from Sue Larka's SUPA forensics class conducted their arson investigation project at the high school. Retired senior fire investigator and district fire chief for the Warner's Memphis Fire Department, Mike Knowlton, was on hand to run the burn portion of the project. Students were required to determine how the arson went down with a storyline for each house. They learned a lot from Mike and his expertise. Thank you to Mr. Mangano and his students for supplying the house frames. High school music, the spring music concerts are in full swing. On the 24th, the jazz band was joined by Mike Dubenowitz to present a fantastic night of music. On Wednesday, the 29th, the OHS vocal ensembles participated in their last concert of the year, where they recognized the 2024 senior class. The band and orchestra concerts will round out the high school performances. In the Math Honor Society, they completed their beautification project outside the main entrance this past weekend. Kids worked hard to clean and garden beds and replace them with new mulch and plant colorful flowers. Thanks to them. It's pretty great. Okay, music in the community. This spring, all 5 elementary schools in our district participated in a Traveling Music in Our Schools program. Over 100 talented students traveled to Bishop's Commons at St. Luke, performing scenes from their musical, songs from their choral groups, and solo pieces from band and orchestra. This program was funded by the Oswego City County Youth Bureau and the Office of Children and Family Services mini grant. Many thanks goes out to the entire elementary music program faculty for sharing their time and talented students with the community. I think there's a video, right? Okay. Great. Okay, next, going back to the high school, underwater drones. Mr. Nagel and Mr. Gild's class had the opportunity to test out underwater drones in the pool. They navigated through obstacles and got to see the drones that they built maneuver throughout the pool. And lastly, district-wide, the district literary magazine was recently published by the Paradox yearbook class. It features literature and artwork from students K through 12. The proceeds from the sales help fund the Paradox Literary and Art Scholarship. The annual art show was this past weekend at SUNY Oswego Tyler Art Gallery. It was a great way to highlight the work of our students throughout this year. I think I speak for everyone. It goes without saying we have some pretty talented students in our district, and that was a beautiful presentation of athletics, academics, and art. So thank you to those who submitted.
Thank you very much, Julie. Next, we have Superintendent's Report. Dr. Kilmer.
Thank you much. I'm coming up upon the end of my first year here, even though I started in September, and watching the recognitions today, but spending time in classrooms multiple times a month on all of our buildings, I have to say I'm just so incredibly pleased and honored to serve such a great group of not only students but staff. It really is a special place here. Last week, FLS did Annie, which was just incredible, and just seeing the incredible talents, whether it's athletically, musically, artistically, academically. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the academic accomplishments today as well. I mean, really some incredible things that are happening here in Oswego City, and I'm just happy to be, a part of that. Starting off, last evening, I had the privilege of attending the Top 100 ceremony. So a huge thank you to the Rotary Club of Oswego for sponsoring that ceremony last night. The top 25 students from each class were honored for their hard work and dedication. In addition, there were 5 seniors who were awarded scholarships, and through the financial contributions of Shinneman Foundation, Rotary, and Pathfinder Bank, there were 4 $2,000 scholarships and 1 $1,000 scholarship. Those winners included Ian McKenzie, Alyssa Carr, Leanna Rockwood, and Jack Del Conte. Also, each of the seniors that earned a top 25 recognition in all 4 years at Oswego High School were also recognized with the graduation stole that they'll wear during the commencement ceremony. But again, I think we hear partners all the time. We hear about the Rotary, we hear about Pathfinder Bank, we just hear about these incredible community partners who are looking for as many ways possible to help and support the youth of this community. And so what a wonderful place to be where you have such incredible partners. Again, something that was really, I think, very special, both for Rotary and for the Oswego City School District, that was presented last night. Naya Buckaloo, who is a current sophomore at Oswego High School, she is being sponsored by Rotary to be an exchange student next year in Finland. And so she's going to do her junior year in Finland, which is such an incredible opportunity. Learning opportunity. She was very excited telling me a little bit about her host family and host siblings. And I'm sure there's a sense of excitement, but also nervousness, associated with that. But what a wonderful opportunity for her. And again, thinking back to our community partner of the Rotary, being able to help make that happen, that's really wonderful. A couple other items just to note coming up next Monday. On the 10th, we have, in the afternoon at the high school, there's a merit award ceremony that'll be happening in the theater, and then later that night, we have our annual high school award ceremony, and of course, everyone on the board, you are welcome to attend. Also that evening is the Section 3 Scholar Athlete dinner at the SRC Arena at OCC. And we have 2 students that are being recognized in honors there, Ian Cady and Tatum Winchek. Will both be honored as scholar athletes, so congratulations to both of them. On June 13th, that's our annual athletic awards ceremony. The event will be held on the Layton Gymnasium, begins at 7, and of course, you are all welcomed to attend. And lastly, this Saturday, June 8th, we have the National Women's History Museum, United States Mint, and the entire Oswego community gathering in our high school theater to commemorate the release of the 2024 Dr. Mary Edwards Walker's Quarter, which will be the 13th coin to be released in the U.S. Mint's American Women Quarters program. Dr. Walker is the only woman to receive the Medal of Honor, which was awarded by President Andrew Johnson shortly after the Civil War. Dr. Walker is honored as a surgeon, women's rights activist, abolitionist, and spy. The event is open to the community. The ceremony will begin at 2. Registration's requested, but no one will be turned away from the event. But what an incredible honor to an incredible woman right here from Oswego. And if you don't know anything about her, Google her. She really has an extraordinary story. And lastly, just a thank you to our community for going out and voting in the latest budget vote on May 21st. We appreciate your participation, and we take very seriously the stewardship, the financial stewardship in which you expect us, and we'll work hard in the 24-25 school year. That's all I've got.
Great, thank you, Dr. Kilmer. There are a couple committee discussions. First up is audit. David?
Yeah, we met on May 30th. From the board, it's Tom, Julie, and myself on that committee. And it was to review the external audit status report. It was noted that there were really no significant changes from last year. Nothing really changed too much, and all the recommendations that were recommended last year, or the prior year before, were completed. So we got up to date with that. Each year, we usually go on out to choose a couple areas to concentrate on, and the two areas that we chose this year was for the informational technology and IRS compliance. It was one of the recommendations they had, and those are the two that haven't been done in a while. So we chose to have those two done this coming year. We also looked into the health insurance plan, and is always looking for different pricing and stuff like that to keep the costs down. And Ray is going to work with Joe Shields on something coming forward. A big thank you to Jessica, the treasurer. I had no idea how involved she was in all this until we went there, and it's so time-consuming and everything. And also for Pete and Ray, because it was a transitional place for both of you, and it was good to see that everything got completed last year. So, I don't know if Julie or Tom had anything, but that's all I had.
Okay. All right, thank you, David. Visitation Committee.
Before you go on.
Yeah, sorry.
Just real quick on what Dave was talking about. So we did talk about the health insurance and the very high increases that we saw in claims paid out. And I had mentioned even during our budget workshops about the possibility of establishing a medical reserve. There are a number of steps that we have to take. We actually have to reach out to our legislatures, and there's got to be actually a little change in law, which has been done before, to kind of help us establish that. So I anticipate having some of that language later on this week, but I will be coming back to the board looking to hopefully be able to establish a medical reserve, hopefully within the next few months, but that continues to be prevalent and high priority for us.
Great. Thank you. Visitation Committee, Kristen?
Thank you. Since I last presented, we've done 2 visitations, most recently at Layton and prior to that at Fitzhugh. For me, what was most pronounced from visiting both those schools is the opportunity to see some of the really great renovations that have happened over the past several years. You may think that light bulbs don't make a big difference, but I'll tell you what, we were at Layton, and there were side-by-side classrooms that you could see in, and one had the brand-new lights and one had the old lights. And to see the difference between what the room was like and what type of an environment we were providing for our students was truly remarkable. I'm really excited to say that they're going to replace the rest of the light bulbs over the summer, so everyone's going to get the great space. But it's just some of these little things make such a huge impact, and it was really great to see that visual, literally, for us to show us what a difference some of the new renovations make. Also, the clean lines and the way we're integrating the Buck blue colors, for instance, in the renovations at Layton, is also really cool looking. If you ever have the opportunity to go over to Layton, like to go into the basketball arena, you can see sort of what the new space looks like there. We're doing some really cool stuff with the renovations, and it's nice to see all of that is. I want to thank both of the principals for being wonderful hostesses and taking us on tours of their respective schools. And we also had the opportunity to see a bunch of kiddos as we were going through who are all very happy to say hello when we come through. All told, I have found the past year going through all these schools to be very enlightening. With my own family, my experience was at KPS at the middle school and at the high school. And so having the opportunity to walk through Riley and Layton, Minetto and Fitzhugh has been really great for me, so I could see the differences in how the schools present themselves. Very striking, by the way, if you compare KPS and FPS, which are technically exactly the same, but the way they have presented their schools, the way they've set up where classrooms are, who's in what spaces, completely different. And so it's actually kind of neat going through the 2 buildings to see how they imagine their spaces totally differently. So we've got great buildings, we've got great people working in the buildings, and I would encourage my fellow board members when we're doing assignments next year to pick being on visitation so you can see all the spaces.
Thank you, Kristen. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. So we have 3 items, A through C. I'm going to look to group them together. So if I could please get a motion for consent items A through C.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, David. Is there any discussion? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Personnel, Mr. Syracuse.
Good evening, everyone. The personnel agenda, the first group, A through D, I'd like to just recognize item A. We have Jacqueline Beck's going to be appointed shortly as our new Executive Director of Special Education and Student Services as of July 1, replacing Lisa Carter, who's going to be sadly leaving us. And Jackie's here with us in the audience, in the big audience. So welcome, Jackie, and congratulations. And item C and D, I'd like to just recognize 2 retirements. Item C, we have an administrative retirement. Mary Beth Fierro, who's worked for the Oswego City School District, both as a teacher and an administrator, and certainly her most recent position is as the middle school principal. And she's been with the district for 4 years. She started September 1st, 1985, and she'll be finishing at the end of July. So a big congratulations to Mary Beth and her time served here for the Oswego City School District. And our second retirement, we have Gretchen Coakley, who's worked in the district as an elementary teacher. She began her career here in September 1st, 1992, and her retirement date will be effective November 20th, 2024, so this fall. So that would be items A through D as presented.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a motion for A through D?
I'll move.
Thank you, Kristen. Is there a second? Thank you, Sean. Any discussion?
I just wanted to elaborate and say thank you to Mary Beth Fierro. She happened to be my teacher when I was in the 10th grade, and then she happened to be alongside me as we raised our children together, and then she was the principal for my children. So thank you to her and, obviously all of our folks who are retiring, but the commitment that they give to our students in our district for the amount of time that they're here is to be commended.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I could just definitely echo what Julie said about all the retirees and the commitment that they've made to our school district and the kids that have come through. Specific to Mary Beth, certainly really appreciate how long she's been involved, what she means to our teaching community and our Oswego community. And, I had the privilege to be around her quite a bit with our kids growing up in athletics, and what she's done to influence the students that have gone through the school district are very reflective in the great children that she has and what they're accomplishing. So I just wanted to say thank you very much to Mary Beth, and an unbelievable friend, and, really a great person in our Oswego community. So thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Anybody else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, our next grouping is items E through V, but I'd like to point out in item E, that's teacher tenure recommendations, and I believe I counted right, I think just 22 teachers that will be receiving tenure, certainly effective September 1st, so congratulations to all of them. So it'll be items E through V as presented.
Okay, thank you. So if I can have a motion for items E through V.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kristen. Discussion? I'd just like to echo what Mr. Syracuse said. That's a great number of teachers who have earned tenure. And it's wonderful because it's really going to show how the long-term commitment of our teachers and everybody to our children in our district. So congratulations on their tenure. Anybody else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. So that was V. And so next up is finance. Mr. Calucci.
Thank you. Under Finance, we have items A through C as presented.
Okay, if I can have a motion for A through C, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. Is there any discussion on A through C? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we have student representative, Michael.
Thank you. So the senior class trip is this Friday, and then the high school's last day of classes is next Wednesday, June 12th. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Michael. Items from the board. Yes, Kristen.
I wanted to join in congratulating the top 100 students from the high school. I was at that event yesterday and thanking Pathfinder and Rotary for sponsoring that. I also wanted to give a shout out to Wayne's Drugs. If you drive down First Street, they have in their window for the top 25 seniors, their pictures. They've done that for a number of years. I think it's a great way to recognize the kids for doing something that we're proud of other than sports, which is usually how you get your face in the paper. I also wanted to give a shout out to John Del Conte and Ian McKenzie, who are the class valedictorian salutatorian, and to congratulate them and their families, because I know for my own kids, it's the whole family that gets them there, not just the kid themselves. So congratulations to them. I wanted to congratulate the music department on a fantastic seniors concert last Friday night for the band. If you've never been to the seniors concert for the band, I recommend you try it. They do something really cool at the end. They have a ridiculous name for it. I want to say it's like Cherapalooza. So basically what happens is after the final ensemble leaves the stage, TJ Bandla and his whole crew invade and bring out chairs to accommodate every student in the high school band program, and they all come back on the stage with the seniors up front, and they play You Never Walk Alone. It takes them a good 15 minutes to get all the chairs there. The kids are packed in there. But I understand from a child who has graduated from the band program and one who's in the band program now, it's something they really look forward to, playing that song. And I could see several of the seniors who were up front and center were quite teary as they were playing it, their last band song that they got to play. A lot of those kids will probably never play those instruments again if they're anything like my own children. And so it's a really great send-off for them to have that last big moment. And so I wanted to congratulate the music department on that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kristen. Any other from the board?
I have a question for Michael. Michael, do they still do the senior walkthrough at the elementary schools?
Yeah, so that's next Wednesday in the
Okay.
last day of classes. Yep.
Sorry, thanks.
Anything else from board members? Okay, having heard that, on this beautiful June day that seems like it's maybe the first day of summer in a while, we have no need for executive session. So can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Sean,
Second.
is there a second? Tom?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Enjoy the evening, everybody. At 28.